Hi. Every project in this series we did had one thing in moving. One ball, one orb, one cube, and that's not how the real world actually works. The moment you go from one object to 10 objects, everything changes. Like you can't write 10 separate animation loops. You can't hard code 10 sets of variables. You need a system like one loop can handle everything, no matter how many objects you throw at it. That's what arrays are for in animation, and that's what we are building today, a multi-object motion system where 10 independently moving orbs, each with their own size, color, position and velocity, all run inside a single animation loop. This is a pattern behind particle systems, game engines and some other data driven UI you have seen. Master this and you will stop thinking about single elements. You will start thinking in systems, and it is my first step to thinking in that way. And let's build it. Welcome to ScratchStart, and today we are going to build a multi-object motion system. Let's start with the coding now. I have written the HTML structure and CSS stylings as always. So now let's start with the JavaScript directly. Initially we have to create an object element like a variable using identifier. So let's create a new variable called C using a query selector. Document query selector, and the class is scene. Now as I have said, we are creating multiple circular bodies, so each color have a distinct sizes and distinct colors. So I am going to define an array of colors to use that in the following upcoming lines. So I am creating an array called colors. Inside that I am defining the colors. I am going to use some 5 colors. Initially I am using F4, 72, B6. And second is 22, D3EE. Third is FDE 047, and next is 86EFAC, and finally I'm going to take C084FC. So now we have defined all the colors. These are the only colors that will be used in the browser now. That means the ball colors. Next I am creating another array called objects. This will get filled when each ball is created. So now I am setting another thing called total objects and giving it a value of 10, because this is the number of balls that is going to revolve. That is why. We go to the browser. See, it is empty. This is the scenery. Only in this box this whole balls will get filled here. So now let's go to the section where we create the objects. Now to create the objects, we have to use the for loop, because we have to stop the ball creation within the certain limit. So using for loop, I am deciding the initial value of 0 and I should be stopped with the total objects. That is only the total to, 10 numbers ball should be available. Only the ball up to 10 value should be there in the browser. So when the value i's value exceeds after 10, that is above 10, it should stop the loop. So I'm using total objects here as a limit, and it should increment by 1, I plus. So next, inside that, now writing the logic now. So I'm creating a new variable called orb, and this orb will be created in the browser, that is in the HTML structure, using a new variable, new element. Create a new element, division element. Next, we have to give this orb a class. Select this orb and give it a class list orb. Class list orb. Now this ball will have a size, so I am creating another variable called size here. I am using the mathematical method to create the size, using math random. I am multiplying it by 40 and adding it, the whole value is the 30. So by that we will get the value. Now this size will have a width and height. So it is a circular object, so width and height will be same as the diameter. So select the orb, give the style width style by size with the pixel, and we have to change the height to style, change the height to size plus pixels, and that's all. Now we have to give the color for the circular object in motion. As I have said, the colors will be decided from this array. So create a new variable called color. Inside that, the data will be taken from the colors value, colors array, and inside that colors array I am using the math floor method, math random method, and to convert it into the whole number I am using the math flow, math random multiplied by colors length of the array, colors array's length. So that's all. Now the color will be decided. Now we have to give that use that color to style the ball. The size is created, the number of balls is created, and we have to give now the color. So selecting the orb, give it a style, background color of the orb was the selected color, the decided color. Now I am going to give like slight styling for that ball, giving it a ball shadow, so the ball will appear in a stylish way. So select the orb, change the style and give it a box shadow to 0 0 25 pixel, and use the color value. Now we have to append all these values like orb value into the orb, this color, the size, everything should be transferred to the orb variable. Only then the ball will appear on the screen. So in the scene, append the orb, append the orb value. Next, another important thing, select the objects and push it inside the arrays, that is push it inside the scene. We have already pushed the created balls in this scene. So now these individual balls will have separate attributes like element size, element, what is the element and what is the size of the element, what is its x coordinate, what is its y coordinate, and what is its directional velocity, like velocity x and velocity y. We have done this in previous examples too, previous tasks too. So that is what we are going to do here. But in the previous problems we calculated that for only one ball, that is only one ball circular object was in motion. Here there will be multiple balls, so we can write that for 10 different times. We are taking 10 objects, so we can write that exact same thing for 10 times. So I am selecting it an object literal and giving it directly. Object is selected and the element we are using here is orb. Sorry, give it a comma. Next, the orb will have a size and it will have an x coordinate, and that x coordinate will be decided by math random multiplied with 500. Because of the container size, this 500 is, that is why the 500 is coming. You can access the source code from the GitHub, my GitHub profile, and you can check the actual code to understand this. And we have y coordinate, using the same method, math random divided by 300, because it is the height of the container. And then velocity in x direction, velocity x is calculated by math random multiplied with 4 by 4 and subtracted with 2. And next, velocity in the y direction, velocity in the y direction, the same formula, because it is a velocity, so it won't change, it won't have any width or height, so the same formula. So that's all, everything is now calculated. It will now pushed into the balls we created. Now the final step, we have to simulate the animation, this created thing, animation. So for the animation I am creating a function called animate. Inside that I am creating a new variable called, as usual, the max width value. It is calculated by scene's maximum width, client width, and then we have the max height too. Max height, and it is selected by scene's client height. Next, we have to push the following values into each objects. So for objects, select the objects and using forEach method execute a function with the parameter object. So inside that we have to calculate the object's x coordinate. The x coordinate will be the x value multiplied with the object's velocity, that is the object's directional velocity in the direction. X directional velocity, and the same y coordinate is added and multiplied with the object's directional velocity. Next, I am using if logic now to stop the motion and to bounce the motion. As you have seen if you have seen the intro, you would have seen the balls bounce in directions from the left wall, right wall, top wall, and the bottom wall. So what I am going to write in this if block will do the exact operation. If the conditions object's x coordinate is less than or equal to 0, or we have another condition is object's x coordinate is greater than or equal to the max width value subtracted with the object's size. So that is the actual size, object size. Then we have to change the object's directional velocity. Directional velocity is multiplied with -1. Now the same thing in the y direction. If the object's y direction y coordinate is less than or equal to 0, or the object's y coordinate is greater than or equal to max height minus object's size. That means the actual box's height, container's height will be calculated, and we can change the object's velocity, directional velocity. That means the velocity y multiplied with -1. Now we have to transform the object. So select the object and their object's relevant corresponding element and change its style to transform using the translate attribute. Translate using the values we calculated. Calculate the values of object's x coordinate and object's y coordinate. Object's y coordinate. That's all. Now we have to make all these movements repeat again and again. So use the requestAnimationFrame and call the animate function. So all these will repeat again and again. Now to start the exact same animation, I am using the same requestAnimationFrame. I am calling the animate function. That's all. So everything is done. Now let's go to the browser. I am reloading. See, all the balls are moving and bouncing and each ball have its own directional velocity and the x and y coordinates and bouncing and in an independent way. So if we write the same thing, if like we wrote in the previous problems, we should have wrote uh, all these things for the each ball. Like for select this ball, like purple balls, there are 4 purple balls already here. So for purple ball 1, purple ball 2, purple ball 3 and purple ball 4, only for purple ball we should have wrote the 4 coding sections, and for the blue balls there will be 3 sections, and for the red ball there will be 2 sections. So there will be a lot of lines and lot of confusions and lot of additional works. So to prevent that exact thing, we are using this kind of coding practice. So this is the good coding practice we can use in the real world. We should not write each and everything as a code. We should try to automate things, some small things, like repeated things. That is what we do when we creating the elements or components in an actual web page. We don't create a navigation bar, hero sections, and each and every section again and again. We will write the structure for HTML structure. We will just change the stylings. We will change the animations or make revealing animations using JavaScript with a small and minor changes. That is what we actually do when creating real world websites. So yeah, I hope this session will be helpful, and please don't forget to like, subscribe and share my video, and please leave comments and about what I think and what you think about this task, and what other things I can do and explore and try things. And yeah, that is it for today, and I will meet you guys in the next session. Thank you. Have a nice day.